Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So we wanted to do a little video today to touch on something that we've noticed is a bit of a hot topic on the PGA Tour right now. Looking at the winners, if we consider yesterday's winners at the Zurich, two of them, and Billy Horschel and Scott Piercy. Last week we had Andrew Landry. Before that we had Satoshi Kodaira. Every one of them had a 5-wood in the bag. So in recent years, the 5-wood has been sort of phased out of a lot of people's bags in favour of a hybrid at that similar 18 or 19 degrees aloft, and sometimes even up to 22 degrees aloft. The 5 and 7 woods have been kind of phased out a lot more.
Seems that way, yeah.
Definitely in favour of the shorter shafted club. So it was interesting to me when I'm looking at these, you know, these players' bags and obviously our involvement in doing the why in the bags feature. You know, it was really interesting for me that this has been a bit of a trend. So we thought we would do a little video just to hit both, do a little comparison head to head. So we've got a TaylorMade M3 hybrid, and we've got a Callaway Rogue 5-wood.
5-wood. So obviously right from the get-go you can see there's a massive difference in the profile. Face is deeper on this hybrid, most hybrids, right?
Face is deeper on hybrid.
Face is usually deeper on the hybrid. So there's going to be a lot to consider, like how much this will probably be easier to get off the turf in some cases, but
high launch,
different centers of gravity and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole thing. I mean, the whole hybrid idea is to get a bit of the DNA of an iron, bit of the DNA of a wood, slightly taller face, but not as tall as an iron. You know, wider body than an iron, but not as wide as a wood. All these sorts of variables that go into how the ball is going to launch. So, you know, once we test them side by side, I think we're going to see some really interesting results. Yeah,
I mean, you would expect that you would hit a 5-wood further, all things being equal. You should, because of the shaft length, get a little bit more club head speed. So let's talk to that. An inch?
We have 2 inches between these two.
2 inches.
Standard 3 hybrid is about 40.5. Standard 5-wood is 42.5. So again, for the player who is having a hard time, maybe slower swing speed, who's having a hard time separating you know, all the clubs and getting the distances to be what they need to be, the 10 to 12 yard separation. That's where 5-wood can be really good at times, because you can get a little extra leverage from the longer shaft. So maybe the 3 hybrid isn't good for them, and it kind of falls out the sky a little bit too soon. So the little extra spin, the little higher launch in the 5-wood, I think it's overlooked.
Yeah,
I really believe that.
It is funny because, I mean, when metal woods first started, you saw a huge surge of high lofted woods, especially for higher handicap players. Well,
you remember Callaway, you know, 3-wood, 5-wood, 7-wood, the Heaven wood,
right?
Then you had the Divine 9, and you know, you had all these kind of names for high lofted woods. Just made the game easier.
And so they've, you know, hybrids have had a huge kind of resurgence from that, but maybe there is a reason why those tour players are getting back to a 5-wood. Exactly.
Well, let's test it and let's see, Matt, what one sort of your ball flight kind of is suited to more than the other.
Okay. So hybrid first.
Let's start with an M3 hybrid first. So guys, just give you a little kind of insight. We're using an Accra Toursy Extreme. We've got the 75 gram X Flex. Sorry, this is the 95 gram X Flex in the hybrid. We're going to use the 75 in the wood. Because it is a longer shaft, we're going to drop the weight down a little bit. So 95 at 2 inches longer would feel heavy.
You wouldn't see many even tour players using anything over 80 grams in a wood?
Yeah, I mean, the really quick guys, like, you know, Gary Woodland, for example, and his 5-wood uses 105 gram shaft in that.
He's like the extreme.
He's the extreme because he's so fast, and he has that kind of quick tempo as well. So just timing wise, that suits him. And this isn't a preference of a shaft for Matt. This is literally we just grabbed a couple of shafts from one company that we can talk to a little bit.
They'll play pretty similar in terms of, I mean, you can't really, as you say, you can't really match a hybrid in a wood because they perform differently anyway.
They do, yeah. So even like, you know, certain companies, you know, graphite design, like the DI wood shaft is not designed, if you play that in the wood, it's not a given that you're going to fit into the DI hybrid shaft.
Which a lot of people think. You try to go, oh, I need driver hybrid, or 3-wood hybrid, all the same. Okay.
Okay, Matt, I've set the flag back there at 230. I'm kind of expecting you to fly it to that flag and maybe one bounce it over the green.
This is a 19-degree hybrid, right?
Okay. Yeah. How far would you expect to hit that?
It'll probably go 240, but we'll find out.
Yep, that's what I'm expecting. 230, 235 on the fly.
Certainly high.
Like that a lot, Matt.
Yeah.
So for you, 4-iron is kind of, and that's the longest club that you carry. 4-iron for you is about 230, 225?
Probably 220-ish, yeah.
Okay.
I would say so.
6-iron, I mean, 6-iron's a good, it's comfortable 200.
I guess I'm thinking of my current set before we fit, so yeah, I guess
I think your new, I think that's about the carry. I think you'll be about 230 with the new 4-iron. So that's bang on. Great strike, a little bit toe down.
Yeah.
Super neutral in terms of delivery. I mean, you're not going to deliver it much better than that.
No, it was a good, and good enough spin to hold the green. Is that what you look for in a hybrid, 4,000-ish?
Yes, exactly. A 19-degree hybrid, right around that's good. Angle of descent is nice and steep. Nice high peak. Honestly, I wouldn't change a thing about that. I thought that was super.
And just not to get way off base, but are hybrids flatter lie angle than woods usually? All things being equal?
All things being equal, I would actually say a wood is slightly flatter lie angle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Come out a little bit lower.
Yeah, I hit it a bit in the heel.
Nice forgiveness though. It still carried 245.
Nice and forgiving. Mm-hmm. The M3 is the less forgiving of the two, even, you know?
Let's just call it the most adjustable. The more adjustable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a forgiveness difference.
I think most people would consider the M4 one to be more forgiving, you know, but I think if you need the adjustability, you could actually make the M3 more forgiving if you had it configured the right way.
Right.
Oh, Matt, you've given us 3 absolute beauties with this one.
That was the best of the 3. Hit that one good.
So, to be honest, I've got a kind of bit of a theory going already on this, that this might be too good. It might be a little bit too hot.
In terms of if you were fitting someone for their long game, does this actually a club that they need kind of thing? Yeah, yeah.
I mean, 240, 245 on the fly. Interesting. Okay.
So it would just totally depend on if I came to you and I said, Ian, my 4-iron goes this far, or maybe I carry a 3-iron, you would then say, okay, this is your yardage gap.
Yeah.
And maybe this would be okay, but if it was 25 yards difference, then it's not okay.
We might actually, based on what I'm seeing here, think that the 21-degree version of this, a little bit open, could actually soften the flight a little bit.
Gotcha.
Maybe give you a few extra RPMs of spin.
Right. That's more dialing in a hybrid.
You couldn't give me 3 better shots now.
Yeah,
honestly, like I don't need to see any more.
Yeah, those were good
with
ones.
this one. That's as good as it gets. Right. Let's hit the 5-wood.
Okay.
Thank you. 42.5 inches long, so you'll feel it's a little longer.
And one thing that's, I think, even from my perspective, that I would always comment on going from that club to this club is the head size is a big confidence factor. I mean, a wood head is always way bigger than a hybrid head. Mm-hmm. So you would, likely someone might feel that they would have a little more confidence with, a bigger heel to toe size club.
Yeah.
But I guess that's got to be pretty personal preference. You get people that look down at a wood and they just don't like the look of it for whatever reason, right? Definitely.
See a lot of loft there.
Yeah, it does, and it looks like more loft, but this is the same loft. We're playing 19 degrees. Yeah. It's a good strike.
Oh man, look at the height of that.
Lots of height. That's totally expected, I would think, right?
Look how quickly that stopped.
Yeah. So more ball speed, but more height.
Wow. 160.
I mean, after one shot, that's got to be basically exactly what you would have expected to see.
That was exactly what I wanted to It's kind of almost exactly what I described as what I wanted the 21 to do if we adjusted it.
Yeah.
And we still might favour that, because at 160 ball speed, if we get some interference with the spin, so we get some moisture interference or some lie angle or sort of lie interference with maybe a little bit of a heavy lie or something, and we drop that spin, but you strike it good, that 160 ball speed, that could go forever.
Yeah, so then it becomes an actual driver. And that's another huge conversation I guess you would have before you even started the fitting was, are you going to hit this into greens, or are you mostly going to tee off with it?
Definitely.
Because if this, we're just comparing the two, but if this were my fitting, I would tell you that I would probably just use this as a tee club 90% of the time.
As far as you hit it, I mean, how many times are you going to, a 5-wood for? And
it's also just the way that I guess that I play. Yeah, if I have 230 or something at a par 5, of course I'm going to go for it. If I have 275, 280, if it's a round that matters, I'm probably not going to go for it, because that's a low percentage shot unless you're a really good player, right?
There's a few people watching this going, well, when you hit it like that, Matt, you might want to go for it a few more times.
This new bag of clubs might just be playing golf completely differently. You never know. I left it a little open.
Yeah, look at the height.
It's not that far off, but really high.
Really high.
Really high.
So this is just to the point of, what do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want height? Do you want a little bit of a more of a neutral lower ball flight?
Yes.
Both are great, but it's just, what do you want? What do you need?
So the height is coming from the center of gravity being way back here.
CG being further back, profile being a little bit, shallower
Thinner.
on the face. So profile's the CG's a little bit lower on the head.
Yep.
All those sorts of things.
I mean, you just feel it when you strike the ball. It feels like the ball is going to kind of jump up and go high.
It's right now 22 feet higher on average.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Again, that's the best of the three. Probably can't hit it any better than that.
It's going to go in.
Oh, I'm on. Almost. So yardage-wise, we are getting more or less the same yardage.
Pretty much. It's just getting there a different way, isn't it?
Yeah. This is actually a pretty sweet test.
This is a great test. This couldn't have worked out any better. And honestly, again, like we're not digging too much into the clubs here. We don't need Matt to hit.
No, I'm going to come back
10
there
shots with each. That was what we were trying to present as the result from the test.
Absolutely.
The longer club is yielding more speed. The shorter club is yielding as a slightly lower ball flight with less spin. Probably more of a sort of a variable ball flight with that one. This is a bit, this is somewhere in the middle where you can either hit it up or down. This just goes high.
Totally.
Right. Yeah. This is just to hit it higher if that's what you prefer.
And that face height you can just see. It just looks like you're going to hit it higher.
So going back to the discussion about what tour players want, why maybe tour players are going 5-wood. We always talk about spin rates, and the tour players need more spin than the average player because they're trying to stop the ball on certain parts of the green.
And firm greens.
Very firm and fast, absolutely. So, you can see why they gravitate towards a 5-wood. Because then they can really get that land angle to be vertical. So let's look at the two differences in the land angle. You've got 47 with the hybrid, 50 with the 5-wood. Yeah. The average land angle on the PGA Tour for a 6-iron is 50 degrees.
Okay, so this is stopping like a 6-iron.
Stopping like a 6-iron for them.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, so it's coming in with lots of stopping power.
A little more spin too.
600 RPMs more spin, a degree and a bit more launch, significantly more ball speed as well. We're up around 160.
That's really cool. Like it's really, club manufacturers must love seeing stuff like that, because it's like that's exactly what they're trying to do one to the other. Is give someone the option to hit it the identical yardage within a yard or less.
Yep.
On the carry end, that's crazy how close that is. But two totally different ball flights.
Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully what the takeaway for you guys watching this is, okay, I've been struggling a bit with the hybrid height. A 5-wood's the answer, or a wood is the answer,
To hit it higher.
Yeah, to hit it a bit higher. So getting dialed in for that, going and getting fitted, and that's one of the reasons we've actually really bolstered our 5 and 7 wood offerings this year, because I've seen more and more of this over the last little while.
Really?
As the ball has reduced in spin, you know, as you know, golfers generally would like to hit these clubs, these kind of lofted woods and hybrids a little bit higher. We need to give them help to do that. When we're looking at the average peak height of the club in the bag for all players, what we tend to see is wedges through middle irons are all about the same peak.
Okay.
Then into the long irons and hybrids, it dips down a little bit. So say you're 100 feet in the 8, 9, you know, 7, 8, 9, 6.
Right.
Generally around the hybrid and long irons, it dips about 10 to 15 feet.
Oh, okay.
So this is one where we can keep the height
You want to
as
keep that
high.
progression up
Yep,
there,
exactly. So, you know, different ways to think about how to fill out your bag.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's, I mean, doing the lofts the same,
Yeah.
the way we did 19 and 19. It was cool that, you know, so it's safe to say all those differences were shaft length
Yep.
and center of gravity of the head.
Yep,
and
profile
probably
of the head.
face height of the head as well. It's just crazy. I mean, I think there'll be people that still say, I really don't like hitting a wood.
Yeah.
But there's obviously ways you could fit someone, a little more loft on the hybrid, for example, to get a higher ball flight.
Yeah.
Just don't be obsessed with 3 hybrid is my 3 iron and so on. If you can be flexible with it,
Yeah.
I'd imagine you'd be able to fill out the bag a little bit easier.
It's just different. There's many different ways to achieve the right result. So, you know, our yardage is the objective. Okay, at what height do you want it?
Yes.
Do you want it a lower flight? Is that the way you like to flight it? I mean, if you're watching this and, you know, you're in the east coast of Scotland and the wind doesn't really stop
Yes.
blowing, that 5 wood flight would scare the life out of you.
Yeah, you'd never want that.
Never.
You go a totally different direction.
Yeah, you'd want that, you know, much more penetrating flight. And if we had a long iron right now, you know, we would probably see that flight could sit just below the yellow trajectory,
Right.
and we could probably see 3 different trajectories, all going about the same distance, but there's just 3 different flight paths.
And we're going to eventually mix a driving iron
Yeah.
into this kind of thing. We just didn't want to go too crazy on this test,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's another trend that we're seeing that we'll definitely take a look at and see why are people using driving irons and who are they for.
Yeah.
But Cole's notes is it probably will go lower for most people.
Yeah, I would think so. Again, just CG closer to the face, taller head,
Yeah.
slightly shorter shaft. So, you know, you'd probably be looking at about 39 and a half for that driving iron,
Right.
all things equal. So different ways to go about it.
Very cool.
Very cool. Guys, I hope that was, you enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun for us. Leave the questions below. We'll certainly get to those. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people watching this, you know, with some interest, and maybe that's more appropriate for them, one way or the other, whether it's higher or lower. So leave your questions and we'll do our best to get to them. And thanks again for watching.